What is up? Welcome to another edition of SacTown Movie Buffs. Once again, I'm Kier, and this is Jason. And today we are back reviewing a film that is, I think, still only playing in theaters at this point. I don't think it's streaming yet, but if it is, by the time this is showing, my apologies. But as far as I know, it's still only in theaters. And the film that I'm referring to is going to be Thor: Love and Thunder. And I say, without further ado, I say we get right into it. I'll go ahead and take this one away. So no big mysteries with this. I mean, this is obviously, I think, the third Thor film starring Chris Hemsworth as Thor, of course. So
The
this is
fourth.
basically set, huh?
The fourth.
A fourth film. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't remember if it was third or fourth. One of them I didn't even see, so I don't remember which one it was. But I think
Probably
I've
the
only
second
seen.
one. Probably the second
Yeah,
one.
yeah, I think I've only seen three of them. So
Yeah.
so yeah, I know there. So in my mind, there's only been three because I've only seen three of them. But in any event, so this film takes place basically this is like the next phase of Marvel, I guess. Everything that's post. Um, Avengers Endgame, if you will. So you have to throw that in there because it does make some sense because in this film in the beginning he's basically been traveling with the basically the Guardians of the Galaxy. After Endgame, he decided to basically, I guess, pal around with them and travel with them, but basically just had no real purpose or destiny or anything of this nature. However, in this case, there's actually a new villain that comes along that's actually played by Christian Bale, and I think the villain's name is like Gore or something like that. He's basically has this sword, like a magical sword, which basically enables him to kind of essentially kill gods, which Thor being a god as well. And so he's been basically going on like this rampage of basically killing gods because he thinks that they're not fair and unjust. And in actuality, he's probably right in a lot of those situations, but it obviously doesn't give him the license to go around and kill them. So obviously so Thor ends up basically leaving basically the Guardians of the Galaxy to set off on his own quest, and then obviously combat because there's some dangers in his in Asgard or his town that he's been living in. So he wants to go over there and help those people. And when he arrives, basically he's kind of met with like Gar and these like monsters that he's able to conjure. But he also ends up running into an old flame who's played by Natalie Portman, his old girlfriend, Jane, who now also has basically his powers and has his Thor's original hammer. So she basically has the same powers as he does. Don't want to go into the whole backstory as to why she has those powers, but that's really all you need to know. Is she basically has the powers that he has, and he hasn't seen her in like 8 years. And so basically, what ends up happening, they are battling like these monsters, and then Gar, once again played by Kristen Bale, basically kidnaps all the kids in the town, and they're basically on a mission along with Valkyrie to basically go and basically get the kids back and basically hopefully thwart the villain in this case. That's pretty much the story for the most part. There's a lot of characters in there that you run into. They obviously added some new faces like Zeus, who's played by Russell Crowe, and some additional characters as well that are throughout the film. The film is directed by, and I always pronounce his name wrong. I think how do you pronounce that director's name? Taiki Waititi, I believe it is.
I don't even know if I'm doing it right, but I think it's Taika Waititi.
Yeah, something like that. And he's also plays one of the characters, comic relief in there. Really good director, also a very funny guy. He's been in tons of comedic films in the past, and pretty funny person. Played Hitler. I think most notoriously played Hitler in Jojo Rabbit, and so
Yeah.
good director, also very funny individual as well.
Yeah, he directed
but
that too.
Was that?
He directed Jojo Rabbit too.
Yeah, and directed Jojo Rabbit too.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. I just sum it up by saying, I actually liked it. I went into the film not really expecting much. I was a little concerned because it looked overall from the trailer, it just looked kind of a little cheesy and maybe too comical from some of the previous Thor films that I've seen. But after watching, I thought it was actually kind of a good thing that they kind of lightened the mood a little bit in the very beginning of the film, that it was kind of more comedic and a little more funny and fun and that sort of stuff. And so I kind of actually like that element of it. There are some serious things. There's definitely some, deaths and loss and things of that nature that happen throughout the film. But it's definitely lighter in tone than some of the previous Thor films, or even some of the previous like Avenger Marvel films. Which during that whole Avengers, it was getting really dark and serious for a good point of time. With the in games and Infinity Wars and all those other films, they were trying to be like so dark and and sinister and with the monsters and things of this nature. So I kind of like that this one was a little bit of a lighter tone for the most part. I think it made it fun, a little more interesting, and I know the reviews haven't been the best for this film, but I actually kind of liked it. I didn't think it was a bad film at all. I thought it was fun and definitely one that I enjoyed, and I personally would watch it again. What were your takes, Jason?
Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah.
I'm not a Marvel super fan. I don't have any, I don't have any big stake with these characters or these stories. So maybe some of the people that were upset about this one, maybe they're really intense fans. I don't really know. All I know is it made me laugh. It's colorful. I thought Christian Bale was a great villain. And I liked it, and I go see almost all of these movies, even though I bellyache about a lot of them, but
Right.
I've always liked the Thor movies. Like the very first Thor movie, again, I don't read comics, so what it reminded me of was more like Superman. It reminded me of the Superman movies, just that kind of lighthearted feel, kind of. And
Right.
the second Thor movie was a little bit darker. I don't remember too much about it, but I liked it. This, Taika Waititi, he also Waitita, I don't know if I'm doing his name right, but he also directed Ragnarok, which is one of my favorite Marvel
Yeah,
movies.
Ragnarok was a really, really good one. That's the one I did see as well. I really enjoyed that one. That's probably the best. I think that was the best of the Thor films, in my opinion. So
Me too. That's one of my favorite Marvel movies, period. And it's and it's also got a sense of humor. It's got those like rock and roll songs on the soundtrack. Like I'm
right.
a big Guns N' Roses fan, so Guns N' Roses was all over this movie, just like Led Zeppelin was all over Ragnarok. So I like that feel. I like it's colorful. It's got a sense of humor. So yeah, I didn't think it was as good as Ragnarok, but I did like it. I laughed a lot. It was I kind of sort of lost interest toward the end when it gets more plot heavy, but I don't know. I liked it. It made me laugh. It was colorful. I liked that they actually gave Natalie Portman something to do other than just play the girlfriend, which is what she was in the first two, basically.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So, I'd watch it again. It's nothing that I'm going to buy or anything like that, but
Probably not. Yeah, I'm probably not going to buy this one, but it's definitely one that that if it was on TV and I had nothing going on, I would definitely watch it. I know it sounds like a slam, but it's not really, but it is. It's a good serviceable film in my opinion. Like I said, it's not the best Thor movie. It's not even the best, not nearly one of, the best Marvel movie, but there's a lot of Marvel movies that have come out recently that I wasn't as big of a fan of, and I definitely like this one better than some of the more recent ones that I've seen. So I thought it was fun, and I think it was great that they did do a little bit more lightheartedness, because I got to imagine, as these films continue to come out and progress, they're going to get a little more serious, because it's going to be another major villain or something of that nature that's bigger than the previous major villain, and that's just, you just know how these stories go with a whole new cast of I guess new Avengers, if you will, since a lot of the old ones either retired or died or whatever case may be. So I think there's so it is nice that they took a break to make a more lighthearted film, and then there'll probably be another Guardians of the Galaxy, and that'll probably be I assume more lighthearted, because they've always been a little bit more comedic as well. So I look forward to those. I like a break of the monotony from all the other ones. And like you, there's just so many of these Marvel films that come out. I know we've harped on this like 1,000 times over. People probably think we're haters of Marvel at this point, but there's just so many of these films, and they like I said, when we went over how they cannibalize the box office, and they just turn out like 3 or 4 of these every single year. So it's hard for me to get super excited when a new film comes out that's a Marvel film, just because I've seen so many of them, and they all essentially kind of, in some variation, have some of the same similar powers of some of the previous ones. And so it's just hard for me to get too jazzed about the newest, oh, the fifth Thor movie coming out. You know what I mean? It's just hard for me to get super excited about it. But if they're good, they're good. I'll definitely give them their due if they're good. And for me, this one wasn't bad. It was actually, I thought it was a good film, and I had a good time watching it. And I liked that it wasn't extremely long. I think it was only like 2 hours, which is, for a Marvel film, not too bad.
Yeah.
Because a lot of them are like 2 hours and 20 minutes, 2 hours, 40 minutes, 3 hours long. So it was nice that it kind of got in, got its message, and then got out, So I kind of appreciated that as well. So,
Yep. I agree.
Cool. Anything else you want to add about Thor, Love, and Thunder?
Nope.
All right. Well, overall grade, and Face, you would give this one?
I give it a 3.5 out of 5, which is for me a solid B. So, I was having a good time.
Yeah, I teetered on this one. I was just a half star behind you. I almost gave it a 3.5, but I had some of the same issues you had towards the end. Where they did get to the villain and things of that nature. But I ended up settling with the 3 out of 5. But I still liked it. I thought it was still fun. So just a smile. No teeth in this case. But I did enjoy it. It's definitely one that I would rewatch again. And like I said, I enjoyed watching it. But like I said, I still have a little bit of personal Marvel fatigue in a lot of ways. And like you, I see all these films still. But, but I do have that Marvel fatigue, I guess, if you will. And it's just hard for me to get super excited about it unless they do something completely different. It's hard for me to love most of them, the ones that are coming out now. And that's just because I'm just so used to seeing so many of them. It's like anything that's on its third or fourth part, 9 times out of 10, I'm not as excited about it as I was, 15 years ago when the first Thor movie came out or whatever it was, you know what I mean? That's what it feels like anyways. But no, it's a decent film for sure.
Yeah. Yep.
Cool.
Yep.
Well, let us know down in the comments. Have you seen Thor, Love, and Thunder? Did you like it? Did you not like it? As always, if you like the channel, we ask that you like, subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell notification, and we'll be back again soon with another show for you guys. We thank you for watching, and hope you have a great day. Bye.
Bye.